How has MLS prepared you and the national team for some cohesion, some of your success that you've had so far?
It's definitely prepared us. Obviously, we have guys from both MLS and abroad who have been a big part of this qualification process, this cycle. And, we've all really come together, become a team, and have gone through the ups and downs, handled adversity together. And here we are qualified. And now we know our competition here in the World Cup.
Fantastic. Our first question will go to Drake Hills of the Tennessean. Drake, your line is open.
Hey, Walker, good to see you. Congratulations on the draw. First of all, just wanted to get your thoughts on having that come so quickly after you guys left Costa Rica and qualified, just the emotion from that. And also, what's it like taking a look at the group and Group B and seeing that there's still some work to be done between Wales, Ukraine, and Scotland? Thanks.
It's great having the draw come so quickly after qualifying because you have this momentum, this excitement built up, and this was a great way to kind of finish that qualification process by seeing the draw. And it was awesome to watch. Obviously, very excited, and we had our reactions live. It's a great group. It's a group that I think is favorable for us. At the end of the day, though, it's World Cup. Every team's going out there playing for their lives, and we're going to do the same.
Thank you, Walker. Our next question will go to Kevin Baxter of the LA Times. Kevin, your line is open.
Hey, Walker. Nice to see you again. Thanks for your time. I guess I have two questions. You talked in Costa Rica the other day about all the sacrifices and everything that you and your family have made to get you to this point of being a World Cup player. Does it feel any more real now that you've had a little bit of time to sort of digest it? Are you still pinching yourself? And then the second question, when you look at the group, there's a possibility that you could play Ukraine. And I think a lot of people in the world are hoping Ukraine makes the World Cup, but that means the whole world's going to be rooting for them if you play them. Do you have any feelings one way or the other on that? Thank you.
Yeah, for the first part, it is starting to feel very real. Even though we have 7-8 months to go until our first game, it has sunk in a little bit. It's kind of like I said, it's the culmination of the qualifying process, and that was kind of the main objective, number one. And now that we accomplished that, it's looking forward to the World Cup. But again, allowing ourselves this moment to enjoy qualification, enjoy the draw, enjoy the preparation that's about to come for the World Cup. So it's sinking in a little bit, a lot of work left to do, but we're going to try and enjoy, this week as best we can. In regards to the second question involving Ukraine, obviously our hearts, thoughts, prayers go out to Ukraine, the entire country. And that's what makes the World Cup so special, is it's a time where people and countries can put aside any differences, put aside any stressors that are going on, and show up on the biggest stage in football and bond together. And obviously, again, we are in massive support of Ukraine, obviously rooting for them in every which way. And it would be amazing if they end up in our group, and would be honored to share the field with them on the world's biggest stage.
Thank you, Walker. Our next question will go to Paul Tenorio of The Athletic. Paul, your line is open.
Thanks so much, Krista. Hey, Walker. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about England. U.S. played them in the 2010 World Cup. I wonder also, for you guys, you have a couple players who play over in England, but you also have players like Anthony and Eunice who grew up playing there. How much do you think that familiarity may help you guys in just kind of taking away some of the fear, that's not fear, but some of the intimidation that could exist with those pot one teams, and maybe just allow that familiarity to kind of take over in the preparation ahead of that game? Thank you.
It is an interesting point because, obviously a lot of us watch the Premier League, and a lot of us, especially guys who are over there now, have played against or with a lot of their players on England. And so there is going to be familiarity there, which I think is an advantage, knowing the opponent. And obviously we'll do a great job of scouting and preparation for that. But just the quick feedback and synopsis is you are familiar with these players. You can start to think through some of the people on their roster, the players on their roster. And I think that familiarity is a good thing for us. Again, nothing matters till you show up on that field and the whistle blows. But in terms of the preparation standpoint, having guys that are familiar, having guys that have played with or against the opponent is beneficial for us. And we're going to be ready for it.
Thank you, Walker. Our next question will come from Tim Sullivan, followed by Ben Wright and John Rojas. Tim, all yours.
Walker, good to see you. Welcome back. When you look at your personal journey, especially with the national team, going from last September on the bench all 3 games to the point where you've been a key player over the past several windows now in qualifying, what has that said about kind of your journey? And if you can look into your crystal ball a little bit, what are you looking forward to in terms of continuing that trajectory into the World Cup?
I think it just shows a reflection of kind of who I am as a person. I'm not someone who's just going to be satisfied with making a team. I want to be on the field. I want to be a leader on the field, involved in every single game. And that's kind of what eventually took part in the qualification process, not being involved early, getting obviously more involved later on, and trying to help our country qualify for a World Cup. And it's important. It's a reflection of a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. And I'm really proud of the work that I have put in over the past couple of years to continue to develop, not be satisfied, not be content. And I'm gonna have the same attitude leading to the World Cup and the rest of my career. I don't ever want to be content about where I am, where I've been. I just want to focus on the next thing and where I'm going. So excited for that, excited for the opportunity, and have a lot of work to do here in the next 7 or 8 months.
Thank you, Walker. Our next question goes to Ben Wright. Ben, your line is open. Ben, I think we might need you to unmute on. There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. Walker, I'm curious, you mentioned it briefly with Tim there, but what kind of things are you looking to do over the next 7-8 months to just kind of keep yourself at that level heading into the World Cup? And are you prepared for 8 months of banter with Gary leading up to that?
It was funny. Gary walked in literally right before England's name was drawn, or sorry, the U.S. was drawn into the group with England. And, he couldn't believe it. He was super excited. He's like, well, now I'm a little bit torn. And I was like, you better not be torn. You better root for your player. So it'll be an interesting dilemma for him to see kind of what side he takes, see how he responds in the media about who he wants to win that game. I hope his loyalties still lie with me. But, we'll see what he says. In regards to the next 8 months, it's going to be very important to, one, take care of my body physically, mentally, make sure I get appropriate rest, but also do the appropriate work that it takes to stay sharp and to stay fit and to stay prepared as we head closer to November.
Thank you, Walker. Our next question is from John Rojas. John, your line is open.
Thanks, Krista. Walker, thanks for the time. It's a part 2 questions. We were talking before with Sheridan Shaqiri. He was talking about experiences and playing the same teams in the World Cup and all that. And the men's national team is the youngest of the 51st FIFA ranked teams. So how do you see age playing into this, experiences playing into this, and how do you guys, put that into the performances? And then the other part is U.S. men's national team and England faced twice in the history of the World Cups, and U.S. never lost, 1 win, 1 tie. Does it matter at all? Or it doesn't matter because it's this, new process, new football, new teams?
I think, the past results don't really matter. Maybe you can take a little bit of confidence knowing that you have gotten results, but it's a completely different team, completely different roster. And so, you're going to have to show up and compete regardless. In terms of the youth of our team, I think that we look at that as a strength of ours. We have a lot of energy. And while we might not have the World Cup experience, we have a lot of players who are playing in big clubs, playing in big games. We took a lot from Gold Cup, Nations League this past summer, the qualifying process this past year. And those are the experiences, the ups, the downs that I talked about earlier that we're going to take from the past year, 2 years, and use that as we head to the World Cup. And again, I view it as a strength of our team, the ambition, the drive. It's all there for us. And so now it's about going out, executing, and making sure that we use that energy in the right way come November.
Thank you, Walker. And we have time for a couple more questions. Claudio Villalobos, you will be next, followed by Tom Bogert of MLS Soccer. Claudio, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Walker, I'm curious if growing up, you might have perhaps decided that you wanted to be a soccer player, perhaps a professional soccer player, but were you able to envision something like this? I mean, the last 2 years for you, well, at least since you joined Nashville, has been everything but going up. And now you end up playing maybe as captain of the national team. in the World Cup. How do you? I mean, when you go back back to your younger years, how do you compare everything that's happening now with that?
I think a lot of people would answer no, like they couldn't imagine this in their wildest dreams. But for me, I think the answer is absolutely yes. This has been the goal. This has been the vision for my entire life. And again, putting in those hard workouts, those hard moments, going through adversity, I've always gone through those moments with the end goal in mind, which is competing in a World Cup. And so I'm ready. I feel like this is a fulfillment of what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, I think it is where I'm supposed to be. And I can't wait to hopefully get there and kind of fulfill that dream that was instilled in that little boy so long ago.
All right, and our last question will go to Tom Bogert of MLS Soccer. Tom, go ahead.
Thanks, Krista. Walker, I guess I know you've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but more in a macro sense, like, you guys qualified officially only a couple of days ago. But I guess just seeing the draw, seeing your name come up and like being able to envision the literal opponents rather than something more abstract, does it all really kind of hit you today that this is real, this is all happening?
It does. I got a text from my wife, like, I can't believe that what I'm watching is like pertaining to you and to us and to our life. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. You've seen these draws before, you've seen World Cups before, but when you are so close to being involved in one, it does hit a little bit different, and it does make it more real. So again, a very exciting day. Now it's about, shifting your focus to club and making sure you're performing well for your club to where you can continue to be called in, continue to be involved in the national team. And it's important that all of us do that we don't just kind of sit around and take it easy for 7 or 8 months, because we need to be coming in good form on the individual and a collective basis. So yeah, it's more real. It's settling in, but there's a lot of hard work left to do until we get to that point.